Hi everyone, this video is about synthetic division, focusing on translating coefficients of dividend, divisor, quotient, and remainder into polynomials. Before we proceed in translating coefficients into P of x, D of x, Q of x, and R of x, let us perform the synthetic division. Synthetic division is a simplified way of dividing a polynomial in P of x with another polynomial x minus c, and is generally used to find zeros of polynomials. Just remember this phrase: bring down, multiply then add, and so on. Okay, let's do it. Negative 4 is the divisor. Negative 3, 1, 0, negative 208 is or are the coefficients of the dividend. So bring down negative 3, multiply it with negative 4, write the product below 1, add 1 and 12, write the sum below them, that is 13, multiply it with negative 4, write the product below 0, add them, that is negative 52, multiply it with negative 4, that is 208, write below negative 208, and the sum is 0. 0 is the remainder, and the coefficients of the quotient are negative 3, 13, negative 52. So we are now ready translating the coefficients into polynomials. In the division of algorithm of polynomials, P of x is the dividend, D of x is the divisor, Q of x is the quotient, and R of x is the remainder. Let us translate the coefficients from the synthetic division into polynomials: P of x, D of x, Q of x, and R of x. Copying the coefficients of the dividend: negative 3, 1, 0, negative 8. Translating it into P of x, copying again. Since 1 is positive, write plus before it and before 0. Okay. Normally, we can determine the degree of a polynomial if it is written into polynomial, of course. However, in the synthetic division, the coefficients are only shown. So how do we determine the degree of the polynomial? Start with the coefficient from the right, outmost right, and then count from 0. So that will be the exponent of the literal coefficient of negative 208. Then in increasing order. So this is 0, then 1, write the variable, then 2, then 3. So therefore, the degree of the p of x is cube, or power of 3. Now normally we don't need to write 1 if the coefficient is 1. Okay, for the divisor, -4 from the synthetic division. So all you need is copy 4 and change its sign. So that's the shortest way. And then, since this is degree of or exponent of 0, and then 1. So the degree of the divisor is 1. Again, counting from 4, 0, then 1. Next, coefficients of the quotient, copying from the SD or synthetic division, -3, 13, 52. Starting in 13, place positive, because 13 is positive, write plus before it, and then writing the exponent starting with the lowest exponent, and that is in 52, -52, that is 0, 1, 2. Okay, and then for the remainder, r of x, what is the remainder? It's 0. Okay, next. Example number 2. Always remember this. Bring down, multiply, then add, and so on until you reach the last coefficient. So let's have identifying the coefficients. 5 is the divisor, 1, -9, 8, 32 are the coefficients of the dividend. Again, let's start performing synthetic division. 1, bring it down, multiply it with 5, write the product 5 under -9, add them, that is -4, multiply it with 5, the product -20, write it below 8, add them, that is -12, multiply it with 5, then write the product -60 below 32, add them, the sum will be the coefficient, or the remainder rather. So -32 is the remainder, 1, -4, -12 are the coefficients of the quotient. Let us translate the coefficients. So here is the screenshot of the SD for number 2. Copying the coefficients of the dividend, 1, -9, 8, 32. Copying it to translate in P of x. So write plus before 32 because 32 is positive, plus before 8. And then writing the variables. So starting with the exponent 0, start with 32. That is 32, 0, then 1, 2, 3. No need to write 1 if the coefficient is 1. Next, for the divisor 5, copy 5 for d of x. Change the sign, and then how to determine the degree of the divisor. Start it with -5, that is x raised to 0, and then x raised to 1. Next, coefficients of the quotient from the SD, 1, -4, -12. Again, so there's no positive here. Let us proceed to writing the exponents of the respective variables or literal coefficients. So starting with negative 12, 0, 1, 2. So the degree of the quotient is 2. Now to check, you may subtract the degree of the dividend and the degree of the divisor. That is 3 minus 1 is 2. So the degree of the quotient is 2. And the remainder is negative 32, or you may write it this way, negative 32 over x minus 5, which is the divisor. Okay, next example. Again, remember this. Bring down, multiply, then add, and so on. So that's how you perform synthetic division. Okay, so negative 1/2 is the divisor. These are the coefficients of the dividend. Then let's perform. Bring down to, multiply it with negative 1/2. That is negative 1. Write it below negative 9. Add them. That is negative 10. Multiply it with negative 1/2. That's 5. And then add them. That is 14. Multiply it negative 1/2. That is negative 7. Write it below 5 and then add them. That is negative 2. Multiply it with negative 1/2. Write the product below negative 1 and then add them. Write the answer below them. That is the remainder. The coefficients of the quotient are 2, negative 10, 14, and negative 2. So let us translate these coefficients into polynomial. Copying the coefficients of the dividend from the SD or synthetic division, that is 2, negative 9, 9, 5, negative 1, translating them into P of X, copying and then write plus before 9 and 5 because they are positive, and then counting in increasing order starting with exponent 0 in negative 1, moving to the left. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The degree of the P of X or the dividend is 4. Let's go to the divisor, negative 1/2. Into D of X, copy 1, then change minus into plus, and then from 1, exponent of its variable is 0, and then 1. 0, 1. Degree of the D of X is 1. Coefficients of the quotient from the SD, 2, negative 10, 14, negative 2. Copying them again to translate into Q of X. Then write plus before 14 because that is positive. Then counting in decrease or increasing order starting from 0 in negative 2, then moving to the left. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. The quotient's degree is 3. Now there's another way by subtracting the degree of the dividend and the divisor. 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, and for the remainder R of X, it is 0. Okay, that's it. More videos on the polynomials are available in this channel. Bye!